Hello, everyone. So, hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having fun here at Viva Tech today. I'm really glad to welcome you to Air Liquide stand. My name is Alessandro Catania, and I am head of product design at Air Liquide. And I work in Air Liquide Digital Factory, which is a team of talented people in Paris that supports business and corporate digital transformation through design, data science, user research, and technology and software development. And I'm here with Orianne and Eric. Thank you very much for being part of this little discussion today. So Orianne Trouillet, she's a deputy CEO at Ekino, and she's also in charge of the experience design and service design practice at the agency. And she works with B2B and B2C clients to support their business and digital transformation. And Eric Marillet is head of digital design for the B2C at Orange France. So thank you very much again for being here, and thank you all. So we're going to talk about design and just a little context before we jump in, and maybe a couple of examples from how we do design in Air Liquide. Let's say that every time there is an important industry transformation, there's always design at play. It was true for industrial transformation. It was and still is true for digital transformation, which is impacting our businesses. And it is and will be true for other type of unprecedented challenges that industrial players face, in particular challenges and opportunity as well. So I'm thinking about data, AI, but also about climate challenges. And so every time there was one of these big challenges, design was always one of the forces that helped these businesses face these challenges. So in these 20 minutes, 30 minutes discussion, we're going to look at the examples of different businesses and how they use design to work on business transformation. We're going to look at different perspectives. We're going to have a sort of a corporate point of view, so me and Eric. And we're going to have an external point of view, Orianne, who works in an agency context, working with different clients. And we're going to also navigate from B2C to B2B as well. So I hope the discussion is interesting. And so let me start with a couple of examples from Air Liquide. So if the question is how to leverage design to face unprecedented business challenges, in Air Liquide, we do it primarily in two ways. On the one hand, we have designers working hand in hand with tech specialists in product teams to design and deliver and support the digital products and solutions that support and transform our business daily. And on the other hand, we have something more upstream. We have designers really being embedded not in a product and technology team, but in business teams to work hand in hand with the business leaders that face these unprecedented challenges. So I'm just going to give you an example of each before handing it over to Orianne and Eric. So let's take the first example. We also have some videos of the people working on these projects here in this stand. Air Liquide has worked extensively to improve the supply chain. And so we have developed a suite of tools for some of our colleagues that work really daily to define the routes for the delivery of our trucks to our customers. So I'm thinking liquid nitrogen, liquid oxygen, define the routes, decide which customer to serve first according to their needs, etc., etc. So our designers have worked extensively with other technology specialists in Air Liquide. They've spent time with these dispatchers. They've really been immersed in the context where this happens, where our colleagues do this dispatching activity. And with them, they designed the best possible solution to help them on a daily basis. So really, designers working to deliver the products that support the businesses. And these products being used today everywhere in the world by Air Liquide employees. On the other hand, we have also, and I think I really want to emphasize this because it's not, let's say, the key tendency today. So today we see often design as a part of the technology environment with big product teams and being part of the tech imagery. I don't know the English for that. But to really harvest the full power of the discipline, it's really, really interesting to have designer embedded in business teams really upfront. And I can talk about one example. We have here an electrolyzers, and also the designer Adrien, which is here, is working on this project. I can mention the Normandy project, which is really about decarbonizing an entire industrial basin by managing electrolyzers with green electricity. And so to do that, which is a tremendously complex feat, we need, with other industrial partners, we need to develop a very complex system that manages, on the one hand, green electricity availability, on the other hand, industrial assets, on the other hand, demands in terms of industrial gases from different customers. So we really need to build this complex system. And one part of the system, of course, is the technology, the industrial assets, but one of the components of the system is the people. So the employees in the different actors is the human component. So in these examples, we're really early on in the project, so there is no digital product yet, but designers are already part of that product team, hand in hand with business and industrial directors, to make sure that the human component of this complex system is really taken care of. So it's just two short examples, but enough from Air Liquide. Maybe Orianne and Eric, and I give it to you, Orianne. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about how in Ekino you use design to support and transform businesses facing key challenges.
Thank you, Alessandro. So at Ekino, we work with B2C and B2B clients indifferently. And it's true that the digital growth has actually touched any companies, even the non-digital traditional ones. But it is interesting to, so actually most of the companies now have a digital factory, or they have a dedicated team to actually build new products and services. But actually what we have noticed working with those different clients is that the way design is embedded in those technical teams is very different depending on the digital maturity, the number of products and services that they have to manage, or again, the international span, whether you work locally or at an international level. So just to give you an example, over the last 18 months, we have worked with for Royal Canin, so pet food industry. And over the last 18 months, the digital factory has grown from 6 to 60 people, and just on the design part, from 4 people to 20 people. And so this design team is here to actually manage all the digital ecosystem for all the products and services for the pet owners, but also for the veterinarians and for the breeders, so even the pro and the large public. At the same time, we work with BPI, the financial services, and we have a dedicated team of 7 designers just to work on one product. And on the last example, we work in the chemistry industry with Arkema. They don't really have a digital factory as such, but they run like digital projects. And so we have ad hoc organization to fit their needs. So really what is interesting is to understand how we can help them to build those digital capabilities. And truly there are some frameworks that exist today that can help a company and industry to set up those digital environments. And some of the frameworks actually are quite useful. So you have the design ops, which help to build a management organization, to define the ways of working between the designers, the technical teams, the marketing people, the business owners, the product owners. So you do have frameworks that help you to do that. You have also design systems that help you to industrialize easily and quickly interfaces across all products and bring consistency across your products and services. And last but not least, because as you mentioned, design is also about customers and the human factor. We have tools to make sure that you can centralize and capitalize on all the customer insights. So for instance, atomic research is used today in digital factories to help companies gather the insights and prioritize their roadmap based on those insights. So really, it's important to understand those different ways of working, because depending on your digital maturity on the industry side, you can leverage on those assets, which are quite powerful. So this was the first part on the digital part. On the business side aspect of it, you were mentioning, to me, design is about customer. Customer is about business. So design is about business anyway. And it's very true now with all the companies that we can work with at Ekino. When I say customer, it's the end customer, obviously, but it's also the internal people, the employees, the stakeholders that you are working with, the strategists. So it's really embracing the full ecosystem of people that you work for. And in that perspective, I can give you two examples of how we deal with business at Ekino. For instance, you were mentioning about strategy. So, for instance, we work with the customer experience department at Renault in the automotive sector. And our design team is working with the strategists and the marketing people to actually build a customer experience vision. So the goal of setting this customer experience vision for all the brands, whether it's Renault, it's Alpine, or it's Dacia, is really to set the goal and make sure that all the product lines, the marketing people, the IT department, the digital teams actually are aligned on this purpose and this vision. And so it helps the company to really focus on what matters for them. A second example for me, which is really interesting as well, is we've been working for the luxury sector, the luxury industry. And the request of our client was really, how can I optimize, basically it's a leather environment, industry. And so the purpose was, how can I optimize the stock of skins to make sure that I make more revenue? So they really wanted to maximize the revenue of the stocks. So, and today this business is really like a handmade business. So it's really traditional one. So what we did, the design team, together with the user research team, we went on site to meet the craftsmen to really understand their way of working, their environment, their tasks, but also to understand, so we could capture some insights to build the best solution. But because we were changing the process and the way they worked, we also had to really understand their mindset about change, whether they were reluctant or not to adopt this new solution. So really, the designers helped to identify the drivers for adoption of the new solution. And secondly, and I will stop here, the design team has worked with the data scientists and the international artificial intelligence team to actually build the algorithm that will be put within the solution to make sure that the craftsmen would have the best solution to make the best decision. So to me, like I said at the beginning, design is about customer. Customer is really business. And and customer today federates most of the companies. So it's design is also used to be like a glue or the oil in the wheel to actually federate all the different teams internally to make sure that we deliver the best products and solutions. So I give it to you.
Thank you, Orianne. What's amazing for me is that the challenge we're facing at Orange are exactly the same as yours in the agency or in Air Liquide. Of course, our business goes more and more digital year after year. Retail shopping, digital invoicing, digital payment, live shopping, digital in-store. So we have lots of digital challenges to face with the design team. And the design team went from 42 people to 106 people in 4 years. It's just a measure to show you the challenges we have to face now, right now. So with that big team, we had to change our mind just to be more accurate on every issues, every digital problem we are trying to solve for Orange. So it was first a change of mindset internally. Before that digital transformation, we worked as an agency, an internal agency. Designer were working alone, doing what Jeff Gottel called big design up front. We are designing, and you developers, you are doing. It's not exactly the way we want to work now. We just changed that mindset, and we build a new partnership between development teams and designer teams. It's a new way to work together. It's something very new for us. We did exactly the same with the market teams. Before the market teams say, we want that, designer design that, and developers develop that. It's not the same now. We are working in an agile environment, in product team, in feature teams, just together in the same location, same workplace, same tables. We are even sharing our computers. We are now experiencing pair design with developers and designers working together with only one laptop, one computer together. And it's a big change for us. So first, a change of mindset. The second challenge we are facing is a change of way to build our project. As I told you, we are now working in a product mode. It's something very new for us. It took us 4 years to enter that new mode of working, and it's very challenging for us, but it gave us some amazing results. For example, we just changed our client support application, mobile app, called Orange et moi, My Orange for international people. And we just transformed it into 6 months. And now we have a new version every quarter. And we can do that even during the COVID crisis. We can do that just because we entered that product mode, that new way of solving problems together, working together. As you mentioned it, we also we were inspired by the industry approach, and especially the automotive approach of building projects, especially the lean approach. So we entered a lean UX approach to design things. Less designers, less mock-up, but more intelligence and more work in the project mode. We began working on design operations too, just to centralize everything about our design system, about the partnership, buying all the softwares and things like that, a new onboarding process for our new collaborators entering the team. So we try to change really a very big mindset in the design team. It's very, very new for us. And what can I say about that? Just to give you a last example, that new collaboration between marketing, development, and designer has been so successful and gives so value to the project that we are now having the chance to work on TVs, on TV programs, on the set-top box, on the retail in-store. At the beginning, we just worked on the websites and mobile application only. So it's a new territory for us and a very larger territory for the whole design team.
So thank you, Eric, and thank you, Orianne. So just a little applause for our guest as well. Great examples, very, very interesting insights. about the relationship between design. I like the expression is the glue of the company, no? And then you gave a lot of examples with working hand in hand with other departments and navigating between business and digital technology. So thank you again, and maybe we can discuss all together. If there are any questions from the people here, we'd be glad to answer.
Hi, I am actually following engineer designing formation, and in the industry, actually, will I have to choose between design or engineer? Is there a role where I can be the two, like my formation says? I don't know if I am clear.
I can start. I can start. I don't know the specifics, but it's funny. I was discussing today with a colleague who has 35 years experience as an engineer in Air Liquide, and we were talking about a vision of design being I don't know the English for that, but décomplexé, like not. It's just designing complex systems. And so if you think about design as you have a set of constraints: business, customer, technology, environment, and you have to define the best system is design under constraints. It's really not that different from engineering, in fact. And that is why the two should work together if we take this approach, this decomplex approach. So I don't know about the specifics, and so that's a first maybe insight to that. And the second one is that we talked about two dimensions, no? The dimension which is really more digital and the other more business. And the value is when you go in between the two. You know, Eric was talking about less designer, less mock-up, so even less output, but more intelligence. So I think that whatever is the discipline at the end, the most important part is the intelligence in defining and designing the systems. I don't know if you want to...
I think a part of the answer to your question is in pair design. It's very interesting the way we're just doing pair design right now at Orange, because at the same table you have an engineer, a developer, sitting just on the side of a designer, and they are all together working together with their specific mindset, their specific experience and competencies. So it's interesting to mix both of them. And as I mentioned, they only use one computer to work on, and they share a lot of things together. And our developers now, our front developers especially, are just becoming better designers, and our designers understand far much better the developers' way of thinking and their obligation or things they can't do. So our way to design has changed drastically. And that's interesting. Your training is interesting. It's, both of the side of it.
Yeah, it's a merge of engineering and design. So it's like we have a dual position, and I think that maybe when I was listening to you, even when we are doing peer design or for the Ekino agency, the fact that we are more and more merging sector and making people work together, maybe with some kind of dual formation, we can also put ourselves on the shoes of the other better than when we don't even know what the sector is.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think this double culture is really interesting. I am an engineering myself, so I have got an engineering degree in telecoms, so nothing to do. But and I moved to design like 15 years ago now, or 20 years ago. Well, it was a while. But it's interesting to have the dual look to these things. And then I think there is a question also where you want to put the cursor. Especially on the creative side or the drawing side, that you have more on the design part, that a bit less on the engineering usually. But definitely combining those cultures is really interesting, because also a feeling I have, and I can see that also in the complex projects that we have to face with all our clients. It's not one person or one capability that can solve everything. And the success of the projects usually sides in the capacity and the ability of the teams to work together and to merge expertise. So like data and marketing and technical and design and business. So it's really the ability to work together and to understand each other's capabilities that really make a successful solution in the end.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a user researcher at Air Liquide, and recently we've launched Persona Encyclopedia. So it's a digital platform that helps all Air Liquide employees to be aware of the need of customer and patient. And we were wondering what are the approach you have chosen to make sure in your organization and with your partners that the need of customer are always well considered.
Good question. As Orianne told it, we are, as designers, very client-oriented, and our mind is very end-user-oriented. So we're now building new things about research shops, just to make sure that all the user research is directly integrated into our mindset of designers and into our tools to design. Before the ancient world is a new world. The ancient world, all the user research was done by a specific department at Orange, which is not the design department. That was that. So now we are just experiencing doing user research by ourselves, and how can I answer more than that? We're just experiencing things, so we are just in the process of doing that, and we are meeting a lot of users. In fact, really, we are going to in-home observations just to see how people are using things. We are also doing a lot of user tests. Every sprint, you've got in the agile mode, you've got design user tests and user studies, just to make sure that you are right on what the user is asking and is waiting from you. So it's a process. It's a very user-centered process, but it's just by the book. And I want it by the book. You cannot do design as we did it 10 or 20 years before. Just a designer alone in his office, just trying to make a new product, a new service, without meeting clients, without meeting users. So now that process is integrated into our design process. I don't know if it's not exactly your question. Yeah. Good reminder. Just to be sure that we address all people, because we are a B2C business. And a part of our business is done with persons with disabilities, for example, or with elder people. So we just built a book of personas specific with disabilities and with elder people profile, just to be sure that we integrate that vision of our true client into the process of designing our project. So we've got now a set of about 15 personas and plus 5 or 6 special elder and disability people profile, just to integrate that.
On the user research part, like you mentioned, we can do that by the book, so exploratory research at the beginning of a project to really set the expectations and make sure that we've got insights at the beginning of a project. And we have also all the confirmatory part with the user test, when you start to build a product and you want to make sure that it fits users' needs and it is properly understood. So often what we see from our customers, I mean, Orange, you are very strong at doing user research, lots of studies, so you have lots of customer knowledge. And sometimes too much, but that's interesting because actually we did several projects with different clients where that so many studies, so many insights that at some point they didn't know where to start, which was the most important, what you should use or not. So we actually did some project just to summarize all the studies and make sure that they have the list of the key insights to consider. So what I find interesting, especially on the digital space at the moment, is that on several projects for BPI or Royal Canin or Carmignac, we did some what we call UX labs, where we do actually user research upfront and also to test our designs. But we have also put together, set up like a kind of platform with atomic research that helps to build basically a database of insights that you can really go back to because sometimes, our clients, they say, oh, why did we decided to do this? They don't remember why they prioritize things with this insight. So the fact to have a repository where you can go back and say, actually, remember, we had all those insights. This one was key because you wanted to do this, and for users, it was very important. So it helps to actually build the knowledge globally, to share the insights with all the departments, and to really organize the roadmaps based on true information. And I think on user research, obviously doing the user research properly in qualitative and quantitative mode is very important. But the tools to actually navigate within those insights is definitely a key challenge to face.
Great answers, and thank you for the questions. So our time is up, and it was really nice. We talked about organization, about products, technology, business. So we see that the design touches all these different dimensions, and I would like to thank you again, and thank you everyone for attending, and thank you again. Bye.